Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to another exciting and interesting session of Project CIO organized by CxO Global Forum. Uh, as we know, the topic of the session is very interesting, understanding actually the role of CIOs in driving business innovation and growth. And in general, CTOs and specifically these days, CTOs and CIOs have a profound impact on the business growth and success by shaping technology strategies, enhancing operational efficiency, driving innovations, ensuring cybersecurities, managing risks, and so on and so forth. And on the other side, the organizations that recognize the significance of IT leadership and leverage the services provided by reputable sources. So, this is how it is. So they have, they have marked differences, and they are, actually reaping the benefit out of technology in the best way. So we have the panel which is coming from the different industries and with a lot of industry experiences. So I'll introduce very quickly. We have Ashfaque Ahmed Saab, who is heading IT and also is connected to digital part with Bank Islami. We have Shaukat Ali Khan, who is the group CIO and looking after the whole IT infrastructure and IT, in fact, complete IT digital transformation for our Khan group in Pakistan and across the globe. We have Ijlal Jafri Saab, who is coming with a lot of international experience, exposures, and currently heading as a group CIO, Martin Dow. And then we have Sadaf Sheikh, who's coming from different backgrounds, FMCG, and now is with healthcare sector and currently working with Ziauddin Group. So thank you all of you for joining and being part of this session. Ashfaq Saab, I'll start with you as we say know about the topic. So if I ask you, sir, your perspective and your views about how can CIOs, effectively balance the need of innovation with the responsibility of maintaining and securing IT infrastructures in Pakistan, and especially in Pakistan, if I say.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thanks for inviting me in this panel. This is relatively a very good question, and I think that's a need of time as well. Balancing the need for innovation with the responsibility of maintaining and securing existing IT infrastructure is, I think, is a real challenge for all CIOs. I've been just join a different industry in the banking industry, and I've been observing this thing since I joined. Because in the banks, that's you need to be basically all the time. The services need to be up, and the infrastructure in Pakistan is good in the urban areas, but we basically you all aware that we are struggling in the tier 3 tier 4 cities. So but I think that's actually with a thoughtful approach and good strategic planning, it can be effectively manage both sides. What I believe is that's what I am actually also practicing is that uh, first we need to basically understand the business priorities. uh, if I take example of myself, as I've told you that I've joined bank in last year. So what I practice is actually I first sit with the management and try to basically understand our business and business goals and priorities. Like in our cases, that's the uptime of the branches and the mobile app is the key. Um, and similar, I think that the other CIOs do have this under their business and just their businesses. So each one have to be basically aligned and understand their IT initiative and innovation efforts with the actually overall goal of your strategic direction of the company. The other thing is that what I also believe is to establish a technology roadmap. That's also a key. You need to understand that. where you want to be heading, and what is the organization short, medium, and long term goals. The roadmap should include plans for both innovation and infrastructure actually maintenance, ensuring the security part as well. And as you all aware that we are basically living in a time where cyber security is threatening us a lot. And in the recent past, we have seen that the two financial organizations is the victim of cyber threat in the near past. So investing in the robust cybersecurity measures is also a critical thing. CIOs need to understand, and I what I basically is discussing with other CIOs as well. That their focus is nowadays, whether it's a financial industry and non-financial industry. Um, Everyone in Pakistan is focusing on cybersecurity.
Absolutely. So we are now learning and understanding the importance of data and
Yeah,
information
that's
other than
actually that's
financial.
there.
Yeah.
There is another thing that's I what I also pursuing is that's culture of innovation need to be promoted in the organization. So that's actually also a challenging situation where I think that's in the most organization where I actually been coordinating and working with that. That's everybody is thinking in the past that innovation is the responsibility of the IT department. But now, as the world is growing very rapidly and technology is uh, becoming a key in this area. So I think that's is also one of the vertical is that's actually business need to be aligned with the technology, and business the ideas need to be what I said is always I said okay, idea need to be come from the business side because that's more powerful and they know their businesses. So that's also something that actually I think that need to be aligned with that. And there are a lot of other technologies are coming in. That's one of the thing is that's actually adopt cloud and emerging technologies. I met couple of people in the past 2 months, and also reviewing this possibility. How can I move my services into cloud? And that's one of the area that is growing in Pakistan, and thanks to State Bank that's they've been allowed with the this new digital banking initiative where State Bank is basically reviewing this thing, that's how you can use the cloud things. Because in Pakistan, you know, that's is the are actually the challenge is that we cannot host our data. The financial industry cannot host our data internationally and or the established cloud partners. So the good news is there are a couple of uh, organization in coming in Pakistan who is providing the internal that's inside Pakistan
So
cloud
don't you
service.
think data retention is not just a challenge for Pakistan in this banking industry? Rather, in if you look into a few Middle East markets, I mean, it's a similar kind of challenge, and they also have very clear boundaries on data retention as well.
No, there is. That's a global phenomena, and I think that's other than this established countries or this European market or this US market. This everybody is basically struggling this thing, and people is trying to actually cope up with this thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Shaukat. I take your point. I mean, you're absolutely right. Understanding business priorities is basically what we need to actually understand at first place to find out the ways to innovate. And it also, if I can pass it on the same question, just to quickly touch base upon your perspective about, innovation. And again, you with your perspective out of you have a vast experience out of Pakistan. And now, if we speak about where we stand in Pakistan, so.
Thank you very much, Abdullah, and thank you very much, CxO Group, for having me this morning. First of all, I would like to say it's really, really pleasure to share this platform with my friends and the leading CIOs from other industries. As a group CIO, just to give you a little brief, that I'm currently managing portfolio at Martin Dow. I'm looking after the IT strategy of the group level, and I'm also spearheading the creative function for the group as well. So I just like to add a few points what Ishfaq had just mentioned. No doubt, the role of CIO is changing very quickly. We know the era when CIO, I should say, the IT head, used to be responsible for the IT operation management and all that. But it's quickly changing, and it's not changing because there was a big change in IT. I would say it's a big change in the business, because nowadays the business are relying more and more on IT. So the reliance on IT has brought the significant change for the role of CIOs as well. So in my opinion, CIOs today has no option to be but to be very innovative and to be out of the box thinker. In my opinion, yes, having a resilient or having a stable IT infrastructure is a prerequisite, but nowadays, CIOs are also expected to work directly towards the growth of the business, and to bring forth the solutions that can help the business in their expansion. And also, of course, when it comes to supporting the business, is something that we are carrying from you know decades. So the CIO role is now, if I try to link it with the innovation and the question that was asked to Ishfaq and to myself, yes, that is there. But having a stable IT infrastructure is equally important. And so here I would like to just emphasize on one point, which recently I would say got highlighted when we had the COVID situation in the country. By the way, it wasn't our country only; it happened around the globe. So I would like to take a few moments because I think it's very relevant to talk about what is digital resilient enterprise (DRE). So not many people are talking about it, but I think it is gaining a lot of importance. So I was listening to Shwaksa very carefully, and I think he has covered lots of aspects. But innovation is at one end. The other end is also to have a digital resilient network or enterprise, I should say. During the COVID situation, we have all seen that situation. The sudden shift to remote work and reliance on IT or digital setup was there, and it really put a big question mark to IT infrastructure of small or large scale organizations. But again, yet again, it was CIOs who really were very, very helpful to the organization to actually help them coming out of that situation, because it was all of a sudden that the dynamics got changed, and the remote work and the reliance on the digital system was there. So just to elaborate further, that in my opinion, in the context, especially in the context of technology, the digital resilience refers to the organization ability uh, to overcome a situation or withstand with the situation if there is any disruption. The disruption could be two types, in my opinion. The one could be that we are quite used to, like, could be a cyber attack, there could be a data breach. And the disruption could be something which is beyond our control, which is could be disaster, or which could be, related to pandemic-like situations. So the role of CIO in the recent years, I would say that has really, is really wide now. On one hand, we have to be very, very innovative, and on the other hand, we need to be very careful what we are offering to business. Having a stable IT infrastructure is equally important in my opinion. So that's what the point that I wanted to add over and above what Ishwak said just mentioned.
You're on mute, Abdullah. You're on mute.
Abdullah, you are mute. On mute.
Sorry. So yes, sir, absolutely, you're right that we are enhancing our business dependencies on technology. So yes, we have to have resilient IT infrastructure and apparently a complete business continuity planning and management strategy. But sir, do you think, sir, if I just in continuation request you for, I mean, digital landscape, do you think in this rapidly evolving digital landscape of Pakistan, so what are the technologies that we should focus? I mean, if you, and yeah, what do you believe like will have most significant impact on the business growth?
Well, Abdullah, I would say that there's so many, and it's really difficult to pinpoint one. We've been talking about AI, we've been talking about lots of other technology in recent time. But if I really have to pinpoint one, and if I really have to if really have to emphasize on one, I would say the big data. And I believe this is one significant project which CIOs, and I'm sure in any large organization, this is one of the key projects. Having a proper data policy, having a proper single source of truth, having the enterprise level data repository. And once you have that, of course, I'm not talking about the governance issues, the security issues. It goes without saying, right? But having a policy, a data policy within the organization, having a secure enterprise level data, you may call it, we used to call it data warehouse, but now it's more of a big data than I'm talking about. Once you have that and you try and build a layer of BI on top of that to bring more business insights, this can really, really bring a value, big value addition to the enterprise. And in my opinion, for those young CIOs, those are listening right now, or IT heads, I would say this is a key project that can bring you, on the front line. This is where you can really, really collaborate with the business, because having this enterprise level, data strategy and having a business insights, imagine that you would be involved in all the functions, everything which is happening in the organization, and you're talking about what the business need to listen, right? You're bringing the insight, having the competitors data insight, you're telling them where the competitors are moving and where we are missing. uh, for example, we started such a project here at Martindale. We named it Genesis. It's really a big, big data that we have it here, and literally, it is a roadmap of let's say 13 to 14 different modules in it, starting from from sales and marketing, going to uh, SFE, Salesforce effectiveness, having my supply chain insights in it, having new product development, core financials, to know the financial health of the organization. So you name it, we have it. So
Right.
by having this, the management is so glued to it that every morning, that whenever my leadership team or my functional heads, they come to office, this is the first thing that they're opening. This is the first thing that they have on their laptops. Of course, we have it on the mobiles as well. But this is a single source of truth. Everyone is talking about the same thing. If there is an issue, everyone knows the issue. If there is something good, everyone knows about it. So I would say that having a big data strategy within the organization would let you jump into a position where you can actually collaborate with other counterparts, with other functional heads, because you are not only helping them, you're talking their language to sort out the issues. So, in my opinion, just to sum it up, in my opinion, this has really brought the current day CIO to a leadership position. It's really, really big scope, but I would say that but success requires different mindset and skills regimen to drive the digital innovation in this particular era. This is very important. Having a different mindset altogether. We used to call, we used to ask people, or we used to assess people whether they are technical savvy or not. But for CIO, you need to understand whether they're business savvy or not, because I believe at this point in time, the technical part, yes, it has to be very strong, but your business acumen is equally important these days. And of course, CIO through this are in well position to have a digital platform or that can really help an organization to transform. So this is one I would say, I'm not saying a shortcut, but I would say one particular um, technology aspect that I would like to bring forth at this platform. And I would say that big data is really going to help the organizations or the CIOs to have a big impact.
Thank you, Sir Sadaf. If I may request your quick view, since you have been, a recent switch from FMCG and the other side of the business, and definitely you have a background of, development and pretty much into IT and technologies. A quick touch base on what's your perspective on this before I move to Shaukat with a very interesting question.
I think Ijlal has pretty much covered it quite well, but I think the developing a local ecosystem is an area which is probably quite heavily overlooked. So I think we're still highly focused when we talk about innovation on sourcing systems and solutions that are not indigenous to the organizations here, and that usually I think has an impact when we talk about innovation driven, data driven analytics and all of that. I think giving the local ecosystem a bit of a boost and partnering with them, I think that's something that has a more long term benefit, in my opinion, rather than just identifying and doing R&D on solutions and then trying to bring them in for various factors. Obviously, the point that I was going to talk about was the role of the CIO in terms of not just cutting costs, but also driving revenue, strategically looking at innovation, driving revenue, innovation leading to business strategic impacts. So I think there has to be a bit of more thought process and a bit of a think tank that needs to be developed along those lines. So I think that's an area where I think we're sorely lacking. I mean, that's my 2 cents on this.
That's absolutely agreed. Shaukat Saab, since we have been talking about so many things in Pakistan and the strategy and so many things, so I'd specifically like to request you to share, your experience from Scandinavia. What is the difference in driving tech leadership there and in Pakistan, and what do you suggest, perhaps at least at first place to us, what we can do in our capacities, and then obviously to the authorities. Obviously, again, coming from your background, I mean, how the authorities help the rest of the ecosystem to develop and come to this, in evolution that they have reached at the moment.
Thank you very much, Abdullah, and thank you to CxO Global Forum for the invitation. I think the great thing is that when you are the last with such a prominent colleagues and friends speaking upfront, then your role is to agree what they have said, because they have said the right things. But I think the question is a bit different about my experience of working in Scandinavia and now working in Pakistan, even though I'm currently talking from Denmark. Scandinavia and Pakistan are quite different. And as we all know, the Scandinavian countries comprising Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Finland has a long history of actually investing in research and development, education and innovation. And these countries have well-established infrastructure as well, because these are small, but they have a very well established infrastructure and a highly educated workforce. And they have a general culture that promotes technological advancements. In addition to that, these countries have a strong focus on collaboration between academia, industry, and government, fostering an ecosystem that supports the growth of tech companies. So their ecosystem works between the academia, the industry, and the government also. On the other hand, in Pakistan, we are still in the early stages of our tech journey. While Pakistan has a growing tech industry with a significant pool of talented individuals, because based on our population, majority is youth, it faces various challenges. And these challenges included many places. For example, I'm originally from Gilgit-Baltistan. There we have a big challenge of electricity. Forget about the internet. So first we need the electricity, and then we need the internet, right? And then limited access of quality education, inadequate infrastructure, and especially the focus on research, because I have been recently talking a lot about the importance of this one, because we are facing a lack of research and development, and a relatively smaller market size. But I think the great thing is that Pakistan has immense potential with a young and tech-savvy population, which can be harnessed to develop tech leadership. So there's a lot of things. Sometimes, you don't need to be innovative. You just need to be vigilant. That you just need to pick ideas of what can work in other part of the world, and then put those in perspective and context, and then see how those things can work in your country. And I think we have a lot of potential in Pakistan. So I think I would suggest that the government of Pakistan, and then they can invest in education, and also the government and private sector. The collaboration potential is so great to improve the quality of education, particularly in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? We call it STEM, but there is a lot of potential of collaboration there. Infrastructure development, there's a lot of potential in investment in robust and reliable infrastructure, including, as I mentioned, reliable electricity, high-speed internet connectivity. They are essential for the growth of the tech sector. These two things are integral parts. So I think the pricing in the electricity, pricing in the internet, that if they goes down, I think the revenues for Pakistan with regards to exports, with regards to all the tech solutions, will go up. So I think there is a very important area for the government to look into these things, that first of all, availability and access to these areas, but at the same time prices. And then the government and private sector can work together to improve infrastructure across the country, because only government or only private sector cannot do. There has to be a really good collaboration. And also the supporting the startup ecosystem, or entire the startup model, creating a favorable environment in this domain. And as I mentioned, that one of the strong area in Denmark, in Sweden, Norway, Finland, is the collaboration between academia and industry. I think in Pakistan we have started that. For example, I am the global CIO of Al Khan University. We have our higher education part, where we offer our undergraduate, graduate, and PhD degrees. At the same time, we are a big healthcare system running across in 6 countries. So we have this direct connection. But I think there is a lot of potential overall in Pakistan with regards to this harnessing this collaboration between academia and the private sector, or any sector, so that the students, whatever they are getting their education, it is relevant to the market. And especially with regards to the embracing the digital transformation, there's a lot of potential in this area also. For example, from the government point of view, if we can have one health card, one health electronic record for our patient, that will, can you just imagine the amount of data we will have overall, the amount of research that will derive. I think it's there's so much potential there, and also promoting the international collaborations. For example, at AKU, why we are upfront, because we always learn from our partners internationally. We learn from other universities, other institutions about how they do different things, and then what can we bring to Pakistan, and we call them, our chancellor call that as a best practices, bringing those best practices. So all in all, I think. Driving tech leadership in Pakistan, it requires a collective effort from the government,
Absolutely.
private sector, academia, and society as a whole. And then with addressing the challenges and implementation strategies focused on education, infrastructure, research, entrepreneurship, collaboration, and digital transformation, we can, in Pakistan, we can pave the way for the tech sector actually. And there is, as I mentioned, so much potential because our majority of our population are tech savvy, and that is the majority, and they are so passionate, so intelligent. We just need to drive them through the right things and then give them the right environment.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. That's actually to the take out of your discussion. Basically, for me, is first of all is the positivity to have that you actually, and that's absolutely the right attitude that we have to have, and definitely we can achieve and be there. So, Sadaf, since we are talking about collaboration, if I request you to share your your views on building collaborations, startups, techs, and we Shaukat also touched base upon academia. So we have Ijlal Sab and Ashfaque Sab who are pretty much connected to them. So I'll touch base with them. But your views on rest of the ecosystem collaboration, if you can share.
So, don't get me started on this because I've been very active on Pasha and a few other forums as well in terms of setting up an industry advisory board that helps to bridge this gap. There is a serious disconnect there. I second what Shaukat said, and I would want to take it even one step further. My recommendation is that we should be helping academia drive curriculum development. It shouldn't be the other way around. The idea behind having a 4 year degree is not to produce people who are just going to be great at research. You need to have people who are employable, who help fill a niche in the market. So there are employers out there looking for tech talent. There are people out there looking for talent that they require to run their businesses. There are business leaders who are looking for innovation-driven, entrepreneurial, startups who require a powerhouse of talent. And then there are students out there who are unable to find jobs. So there's a huge disconnect there. And I think this is not a one person or a one entity job. The government alone cannot do this. The HEC alone cannot do this. So, for example, there's Aga Khan University, there's Ziauddin University. There are a lot of other universities who are very well poised, and they are in a position to help generate policy and decision making that is going to help bridge this gap. So this has to be taken up as a priority, in my opinion, and the collaboration needs to be not just lip service. There has to be tech innovation centers, collaboration centers where you bring in people both from academia who are doing great in terms of research, as well as people from the industry, because we're all there to actually solve business problems, right? Be it banking, be it FMCG, be it sales, be it pharmaceuticals, medical care. We're all there trying to solve business problems. So if we have actual business problems to solve, and there is R&D, Shopper talked about AI and a lot of data that's basically being generated. Pharmaceuticals and medical care and healthcare giants like AKU and even Mountain Dow, I'm sure you guys have like gigabits of data just in Pakistan. And when we combine data across different verticals, you're looking at uh, you know, trillion, trillions and trillions of opportunities that arise in terms of using that data, leveraging that data, applying analytics, and helping that to drive decision making. So I think collaboration across verticals is also important because healthcare and pharmaceuticals, I mean, they're like very closely tied up. So is academia and healthcare in a lot of ways. So for a teaching hospital, your students eventually go into your clinical practices and then they go out into the industry. So it's a complete life cycle, and all of each aspect of that, each touch point on that journey needs to be, integrated back into the way we design the curriculum, into the way we collaborate. We need to have like structured programs, in short. There are a lot of workshops, there are a lot of events, but those are like maybe 1 or 2 day events. So I don't think they leave a very lasting impact. This requires a bit of a sustained effort, for the lack of a better word. And people from the industry, they need to take out some time, potentially voluntarily, and spend that time helping those startups gear up. The reason we don't have a lot of successful unicorns coming up despite all the talent that we have is that they don't know how to scale.
Right.
So essentially, that's
That's
where
right,
we're at.
and I also feel that apart from that, the good thing is that, and I think all of us would vouch for it, that the CIOs, the industry leaders, have now started to connect with academia and people like, as I mentioned, within this group, even small group of four. I mean, five. We have Ashfaque Saab and Ijlal Saab who are already connected with universities and institutions at a level where they are developing curriculums. And another thing in terms of collaboration, I'd like to highlight, which is a positive side from Pakistan, is that industries and the entrepreneurs, they have also started to connect with technology people and technology industry to present their problem statements and then expect them. And obviously, as rightly mentioned by Shaukat, there's a major role of R&D, which requires time, resources, and obviously some investment. So this is how the collaboration is definitely going to come in and help us. And quickly, Ashfaq Saab, just this, I understand this is not a part of this agenda and discussion, but again, how do you think the efforts that we are putting in with academia, what can actually expedite the process and bring quick impact on, to so that we get the right resources and get the growth, overall technology evolution, the speed of the process here?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think that's again this is a need of time as well. I'll just give you an example. That's what Bank Islami did in the past some time, and we have internally actually with the level of our seniors. Uh, to have a vision to develop certain technology people in the market, not for Bank Islami. This is for actually for the Pakistani industries. For that the first thing that what we did is actually we have signed an agreement with IBA, where the we will develop the skills, and the skills will be most of the skills that is required by the industry, and this all the fees and courses and their grooming and everything will be responsibility of IBA and Bank Islami. Similarly, that's we are basically expanding this program to other universities as well, and our vision is to basically develop 1 million technology people in the Pakistani market over the period of 5 and 6 years. So, and that was actually the vision that has basically just been derived because we are also struggling with the technology people shortage in our organization and similarly in the industry. So, our actually president and our senior leadership decided that we should basically do something for that part as well. So
That's
we have
good.
started this thing, and hopefully the first batch will be in the market after 6 months, and that will not only the responsibility of IBA and Bank Islami, that will be the responsibility of everyone in the Bank Islami, and they'll be basically taking care of this program with the help of our HR department and the other people who have involved. I've basically and our management decided a very senior person in my department to dedicate for that program, and his main duty is to basically execute this program efficiently, and he is the one who basically understand the requirement from the industry, and and basically design a curriculum for that. That will be a 6 month or 1 year program, and that will basically all sponsored and by the Bank Islami. So this is one of the this initiative that's been taken
That's
by.
actually good to have, good to hear that it's been done with ownership and not just as part of formality and not just a tick in the box. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually initially we've discussed this thing with the CSR and this thing, but obviously that's actually if you do this thing, there's a lot of, as Sadaf mentioned, that's a lot of program has been happening in the market, but unfortunately that's not very successful. So we basically started with the passion, and we basically decide that if this will be carry out, I hope that this will be a big thing for the market. Similarly, that's in the personal capacity. I've been involved in different universities, having different programs, and try to basically connect with a lot of startups and the people who basically is doing something there. The biggest challenge in the Pakistani market is Shaukat rightly pointed out, that is R&D, and actually we don't invest much on the research. And what we do is basically we get something from the thing, and we basically just carry out things and try to basically not doing a proper work. Scale up is the problem. The different people, different startups is doing their work, but they are never been scale up. That was the problem, that we never generate a unicorn in the Pakistan. So there should be a complete program is required where that's one of the thing is this the the technology related resources generated. The other thing is this startups and the people that's who's doing good work, so how to scale up their work. That's actually another thing that's need to be actually work it out. There is another point that's I remember that's in the last session where myself and Ijlal Sahab was there. Ijlal Sahab highlighted that um, actually we need to invest on the university sides, on the faculty as well, because the lot of things we have observed, we are doing a lot of work for students, but we never thought about the faculty grooming and faculty actually the training. And that's what that's I think that's a major problem is because the faculty is teaching their students in the curriculum that's been designed in the stone age. So they also need to be look into it how that's this how
Yeah.
these things need to be basically innovate, how the new things that is required in the market need to be basically not that's one of the thing is the curriculum, but the other thing is actually how to teach that things. I remember that's I went to one of the university and been basically looking their curriculum, and I wonder that actually there's still teaching Pascal and that kind of languages that's been
Absolutely.
old now, and that's
Rightly pointed
um,
out. Rightly pointed out.
uh,
So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go
one
ahead.
another thing that's I with the help of this forum I want to basically actually highlight this thing is I've a couple of my friends basically has developed a forum in US, and they were basically want they are looking they are looking people from Go language, and I'm basically surprised. That's when I go into market and search out these about skills about these tools. So I surprised that I never found anyone in the urban areas. Fortunately, I found some of the people on the northern side where they are basically doing a lot of work. uh, unfortunately, Shaukat highlighted there is no electricity on the Gilgit-Baltistan side, and the internet is the other
Yeah,
actually
there are
problem is.
infrastructure challenges
So
that
infrastructure need to be basically the first thing is, and I also believe that Pakistan have a lot of potential, not in the urban cities, not in the basically areas where we live there, but there are actually on the actually rural side or the tier 3 tier 4 cities where actually there a lot of potential is there. In the last organization I have decided to uh, open the development center in the areas where actually people want to live, but unfortunately there is no jobs availability is there. So
that's
this is
right.
one of the area where organizations need to think about it. That's the rural areas and the areas where actually have not a lot of potential, lot of actually opportunities that need to be basically developed centers there,
Absolutely.
and
And this
organizations
perhaps
should
require
think about
another
these things
further
as well.
collaboration between the organizations, so companies, without naming obviously the internet service providers, the telecom companies, and the rest of the investors. We should reach over there in collaboration, obviously, to provide the basic necessities and infrastructure, surely, to ensure that we give them opportunity and with of all the tools required. So before I ask my next question, I'm into Ijlal Saab, just to set the preamble right. Uh, Shaukat Saab, in your area, I know you are using the best technologies at Khan, and but still, in terms of if I just randomly pick AI, do you think what is your perspective? Where do we stand, and potentially where we can reach, or where we can be perhaps in few years if we invest rightly? And what are the still I would say gaps and deficiencies which we need to address?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And also, I think the important part is that now the new responsibility of CIOs is to understand this rapidly changing and disruptive world, right? And as a CIO, we are responsible for aligning technological initiatives with the overall business strategy, especially in the age of AI and Chat GPT. And especially
Yeah,
when we are in a world where the systems are actually understanding the human language, right? This involves identifying opportunities where artificial intelligence can be leveraged to enhance operations in our part, our healthcare system, our education system, and also our customers in our stakeholders, in this case, our students and our patients, and drive innovation. So AI is a actually it is now driving the business from the Al Khan University point of view. What we did as a starting point is that we put a policy committee which is working on the use of artificial intelligence in higher education at AKU for now, right? And what was the reason? Because one thing is that there are so many things coming out within the AI part, but I think that it's also very important to put a guiding structure in the institution of how to use this in our context for faculty, what they can accept, what they cannot accept, for students, where they can leverage the chat GPT and all the AI tools, and where are the limitations which are not allowed because we really want them to learn as well. So I think that's why we have put a very diverse group of leaders, and not only internal leaders, but we are also learning from institutions from all over the world about how they are harnessing AI in there, because in our context, that is our future. And whenever I'm talking about AI, for example, whether it's a digital transformation, data management, business success, or whatever we call it, now every single vertical is touched by AI. Whether it's infrastructure, whether it's a system, whether it's a data management, or whatever. And then we are. At AKU, we are heavily investing on emerging technologies. Just to give you one example, that at the moment, our we are implementing the biggest digital transformation in the history of our institution, which is the electronic health record, which we have implemented in East Africa, especially in Kenya, and around 50 outreach centers. And as we speak, we are implementing in Pakistan with our hospital in Karachi, and also our 300 phlebotomy centers across the
That
country.
definitely would be massive because it would be a huge health record, and then it requires a lot of compliances like HIPAA, GDPR, so on and so forth. When we talk about data, keeping such data out of Pakistan, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and because it's very very important that the institutional leadership. In our case, we are very blessed to have a very good board, which under the guidance of His Highness the Aga Khan, and then a very high powered board who actually recognize the importance of technology, and then our management they supports technology because we are not no more a support function. We are a business drivers
That's right.
to
That's right. We are in the driving
our
side.
leaders, and they see us as an advisor and a partner. So I think that's
Absolutely.
that's how we work. Just give you a small example of what Ashfaq just mentioned about the outreaches. We have just signed an agreement day before yesterday with the government of Gilgit Baltistan to improve the quality of teaching practice in GB schools actually, and this includes training around thousand teachers, and this will be done through a consortium of Al Khan University, Lahore University of Management Sciences, and then the
Oh,
local
very good.
university in Gilgit Baltistan, Karakoram International University, to improve the quality of teachers. And these are some of the areas each institution should do to bring the real impact to the society and where we are operating it.
Excellent. And that just keeping fingers crossed, obviously looking forward that we get the best outcome of all these efforts being put in to towards the innovation. It also, as I said, and I was trying to set the preamble for the next question. I mean, we used spoke about data, uh, and we touched base upon AI, and there are other buzzwords, and there are machine learning, and so on and so forth. So definitely, all these things are required when we speak about data. So to make our organization data driven organizations, while at the moment we are pulling data, and we are getting decision support systems, so we are on the road towards becoming a data driven organization. So what do you think are the areas which we should address, and not just apart from academia, a step ahead of academia, for those who are beginners and at the initial level of their professional and careers, what they should also focus on in terms of picking up the right technology, which definitely with the intent when they come into the business, they contribute towards the growth, and get get the right value addition to the business with technology.
Well, Abdullah, I think it's a good question. Uh, I really have to think about many things before, to give you a right answer because it's such a vast field. I would just like you mentioned, how we can bridge the gap between academia and industry. This is a topic that we've been talking about since years and years. Before I say something, let me tell you that I'm from the era we used to talk about bring your own device, but I'm from the era we used to bring our own teacher. So, so at that point in time, I can tell you clearly, I had few teachers. Respectfully, I would say that some PhD teachers they were really unable to really deliver what was required at that level for the IT grads and or some people who were the master degrees in information technology. So we used to go out and search the actual person who's doing some kind of a project and come on board and teach us. Now, this is very important for all of us to understand. There was a clear need that the practical aspect of teaching was missing there. And that's why, on what Ashfaque was mentioning earlier, I'm a member board of studies of different business schools already, and I all the time I talk about it. We've been doing a lot of things for like internships or trainings, and we've been talking to students directly. But I think there is a clear need that there should be some program for the teachers training as well, and on a different forum because I'm also a member of subcommittee of OCCI, and we are trying to help them to set few things that how we can collaborate with academia and help the teachers to bring forth and to bring them on board and expose them to the practical projects that we are talking about. So this is one area which I believe is missing at the moment. As far as my organization is concerned, we have a very flagship program. We call it Martinship here. So each semester, we bring many students from different business schools and expose them to the practical projects. Like in my department in IT, I have graduates from some leading universities already here working on big data projects, working on some kind of a real time project related to SAP, etc., etc. But I think the important part is that we should understand that we as a CIO, we need to work at the grassroots level. The question that you asked, that how we can help startups, how we can help incubation centers. Let me tell you, I have wonderful experience working and visiting some of the incubation center in Bishar, in Karachi, in Lahore as well. And there, honestly, even as a CI, I was so surprised and happily surprised to see the kind of projects they were, working on. But uh, I believe this is the time that we need to pass on to the society, and we need to work with them very closely to make them understand the real needs, the real challenges of the business. Like what Shaukat mentioned, today's the age in this digital age, there's so many technologies coming our way. So our job as a CIO within the organization as well is to pick and choose the right solution that we have. These, you know, flooding of technology is confusing CIOs. Imagine the level of confusion that it can have at the leadership position, right? For the people who are not directly involved. So they really need our help to guide them what is the right uh, fit for our organization. And this confusion is also there for the people who are entering into practical life, So I think we need to work very closely with them.
Absolutely.
Kind of a mentorship program, and I know CXO Global uh, work very differently. We're working with different business schools as well, and I think uh, there's a clear responsibility at our level to spare some time to talk to them and do some kind of a mentorship for them, right? They may be very technically sound people. We have wonderful universities around here, but they're probably lacking the practical aspect of it. Let me point out one name. Normally, usually we don't, but I think the person is doing a commendable job. The other day I also mentioned Mr. Faisal, who's running Al Nafi.
Yes,
This is
yes, yes.
something
We may,
if
yeah.
people are listening to me, I would say do get connected to them. Trust me, the other day when I spent some time with him and I went through the whole setup, I was so amazed to see the kind of the project, the kind of practical things that they're doing, and how quickly a young grad or who maybe there are not many people who are doing the graduation or master degree from the leading universities.
That's right. And Al-Nafi is also providing to and addressing, trying to address multiple segments. So you're absolutely spot on that.
Absolutely right.
Yeah,
So this
you're
is
right.
how we should be working. This is how. Let me tell you that if you look at our neighboring countries like India, they really work this way. Rather than spending years and years doing graduation and masters, and end of the day you don't get a job. I think we need to develop people on skills, on certain skills, so they are job ready. See,
That's right.
so this has been a confusion, and I always tell people that we need to work with the young people, not necessarily doing the degrees in different disciplines, but to develop them, to provide them a certain level of skill so that they are job ready. And this is where I think we are missing.
Excellent, sir. Thank you so much. We are short of time. Otherwise, the discussion should have and could have continued for the whole day. It's such an interesting topic, and with all of you, I can keep on asking questions for the rest of the day. But thank you so much for your input, your time, and I hope it was the information that we shared was beneficial and should help. Anyone else would like to reach our professionals, please feel free to connect at CxO Forum. Thank you so much, CxO Global Forum, Kawal Masroor, and the whole team for setting up this platform. Thank you so much, all of the viewers. Allah Hafiz. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.